So, just start over. The first one is the Three of Swords upright. The next one is the Five of Wands upright. Then you have the Ten of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Cups upright, and then the Seven of Cups in reverse. Then your shadow card is the Hanged Man. So, the reason why I pull 5 cards is so there's an opportunity for each of the elements as well as a major arcana to be represented. What's missing from your primary reading here, so the 5 cards are your are your earth sign and your major arcana. Earth signs deal with things like physical health, wealth, finances, jobs, emotional health, mental health, physical things essentially. So with that being absent, that just indicates to me that's one of the areas that's being most affected. And then the other area would be with the major arcana, which deals with essentially long-term goals and larger concepts. So that could be anything like connection to spirit, connection to your higher self, and like I said, long-term goals. So again, that's the other area of your life that's being severely affected by this. Looking a bit deeper, it does look like you have been doing work to kind of release some of that energy that they've been building up. And it is, while this is something that did happen, because there is a lot of conflict, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of betrayal being shown here, this is something that you can actually pretty easily clear off of yourself. I'm really feeling like if you were to do a binding and then a cord cutting ritual, that would probably be the best way to go about this, which those are not difficult things to do. And if you need help at the end of this, I can definitely talk to you about how to work with it. I do those pretty regularly for people. As far as who this person is, this is someone that you've been having issues with long term. Actually, there are multiple people involved when I'm feeling here. I only think one of them is actively doing work. I think the other one is more of just sending out those negative vibes, and honestly, they're kind of, I don't want to say canceling each other out, but they're definitely like weakening what is being sent out, as opposed to working together and strengthening it. This is someone who is very immature. They are very passionate. They tend to have very explosive emotions. They're a very indecisive person. And they're someone who rejects what is consistently offered to them. So when something good is going on, they are only focusing on the negative when it comes to that. This person, part of the reason why they did this to you is because they've put a lot of stress upon themselves. They see your sense of freedom, and they...
That is so correct.
Yeah, they're just...
Oh, there's someone trying to...
someone's trying to... Maybe not. Okay. And it's not just about jealousy. It's that they are actively trying to steal that positivity from you. Like I said, this is someone that's been very confrontational for a long time. So regardless of what you're going to do, they're continuously going to be like that. I mean, this is really someone who has this strong victim mentality. Did you have any questions about the primary part before I kind of get into the... Okay, so the secondary part is your shadow work, or your shadow card. These are final messages or shadow work that needs to happen. Number one, part of the ritual that they did against you is causing you to think like how they do, where things are very negative. So not everything that is happening to you is caused by this. A good portion of it is just normal life shit that was meant to happen anyway. But the biggest issue is the type of mind games that are being played there. So one of the biggest countermeasures you can do to this is changing your mind, switching up how you were thinking beforehand versus now.
And now this person's like, why? Why are you going to do that?
Yeah.
It's been happening for like 2 years.
Yeah. And that's a part of their spell, so they essentially, you switched
It's my
personalities
mother.
with
It's
them.
my mother
Yeah.
and her mother.
Yeah. That would make sense, unfortunately.
And they've been distanced for a while now, like not in connection with each other to do their devious things.
Yeah.
So
that
they're
makes a lot of
known to
sense.
do witchcraft.
Yeah. Like I said, I think only one of them is actively doing
It's my
workings
mother.
against you. The other
Where I'm
person.
stuck at in her house. It's
Yeah.
my mother.
Yeah.
Like everything I had, it's gone.
Mhm.
I'm only on the floor in her room.
Yeah. I don't think she's the one that's doing the workings. I think she's the one that's sending you a lot of the negative energy, though.
Okay.
I think the other person is the
gotta
one
be her
that's
mother.
doing the
Her
actual
sisters,
workings. But again, what they're doing is actually kind of, like I said, kind of canceling each other out a little bit. So as bad as things are right now, it would have been a lot worse if they had not both been doing workings towards you. So like I said, you two have essentially switched mindsets where you are in the sense of lack and she's in the sense of being. And again, one of the biggest countermeasures is doing things to kind of switch that mindset. So morning affirmations are going to be absolutely essential for you, just to re-empower yourself. And this isn't just a spiritual thing, this is a psychological thing as well. It's just say 3 things you're grateful for in the morning. It really doesn't matter. 3 positive I am statements about yourself. Doesn't really matter what they are, just making sure you're doing something to really build yourself up. Number 2, you are also a pretty powerful practitioner. If you were to actually get into this kind of workings, I'm assuming you kind of just started with this.
I mean, when I walked in, I seen you.
Yeah.
You led me this way.
Yeah.
Your energy, didn't I tell her? Back there, I said, I have to come up here.
Absolutely. Happens more often than not. That was honestly
And I
kind of
don't
my
believe
intention
in this
today.
stuff because I'm so into God. But, you know, we're not supposed to be questioned or know anything about this. But you led me this way.
There are, if we're going to what about the church's teachings, this would be considered bad. If we're going by actual biblical teachings, this stuff is not bad. Because I've read the Bible so many times. Like I've done a lot of research in a historical context. But as far as this goes, really what this is saying.
And this is the health one, right?
No, you don't have a health card.
No, so you don't. Those are absent from your reading. So that's where like the bigger issues are coming from. This deals a lot with indecision, things being presented to you, and creating this overwhelming sense of like I don't know what to choose, as well as like a rejection that comes with it. So, yeah. But what this is saying is, if you were to, and I'm not telling you to do anything too crazy. Again, bindings, I can give you some psalms that are associated with bindings if you prefer to do it that way. A lot of people pray over psalms when they're doing these kinds of workings. And then they have, cord cutting, basically just declaring you don't want their energy in your life anymore. I would wait to do that until
They're
you
so
have found a
negative.
different space to live in. Just because if you're constantly in their space and you do the cord cutting, it's not really going to matter because those cords are going to kind of rebind themselves. I would say just be a little careful since that is your mom, you are biologically related to her. That can cause some issues, but
That doesn't matter. She's
typically
been
not.
distance from me since I was young.
Yeah. But did you have any questions about this before I give you
No.
more in-depth homework? Okay. Alright, so your homework, like I said, cord cutting, eventually that's farther down the line. I would do a binding right now. And by right now I mean like today if possible. There are a few different ways you can do this. Old school way, which I'm sure you've heard of, is writing their name on a piece of paper and essentially writing down, you know, what you want to bind them from doing. So in this case, from doing workings against you, from doing that, from harming themselves, from harming you, from harming other people, whatever it is. Write down their name, that, and then fold it up, pop it in a couple water ice cube tray and just pop it in the freezer. You're binding them
Can't do
down.
that at her house.
Yeah. If you can't do that at her house, then I would recommend binding it with some black string and then sealing it with some black candle wax and then burying it.
They sell the candle wax.
Yeah, I mean, we have like little small candles that are like 55 cents that you can get to do that with. It's not hard. I would just recommend letting the candle burn down afterwards, after you've bound it and sealed it. You can sprinkle a little bit of Florida water on top of it. If there are any herbs or spices that you're drawn to use, you can add that on there. If you want it to have a little bit of a kick afterwards, sprinkling a little bit of stinging nettle leaf and then binding it with the wax would be helpful. Essentially what stinging nettle does, it's a very protective plant, but it also gives them a little bit of bite back if they try to come at you or someone else, or if they try to break the bonding in any way, they're going to experience some luck. And it's not a baneful thing, it's more just an extra. It's a protection with repercussions. But that's entirely up to you how you want to handle that. And then the other thing is affirmations. So I always say that for you in the morning to kind of just change your mindset. Okay. And then the other thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you journal. This is more or less just to help you see your process, your progress before, after, during, and then after the binding ritual. So you're going to do that over the course of like a month and a half. We're just going to write down the basics of your day and how things are going. Be really objective as you can, because this particular type of working is very much like intending to make your mind overanalyze and overreact to things. So kind of step yourself out of your mind and really look at things subjectively. That's the other thing that this journaling is going to help with, is to kind of reset your mindset to neutrality versus negativity. All right. Any questions about any of that? No. Okay. You are all set to go then. You're welcome to take any of the lucky coins, charms, or crystals from that little tan box there. Yep.
What is that?